What a joke. Oh my God, on scooters. Look at this. Ridiculous. Big story now, jaw-dropping security breach at the heart of Britain's military. I can't quite believe actually that I'm about to tell you this, but the RAF base at Brize Norton, 2 pro-Palestine activists, electric scooters and a direct hit on the UK's military operations. What does this mean for national security and what's the real story behind the headlines? Hello to you, I'm Ben Leo and this is GB News Originals. Don't forget to subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel. So, what happened? For me, this is stunning because in the early hours of June 20th, 2 activists from Palestine Action broke into RAF Brize Norton in Oxfordshire. It's the UK's largest airbase, but it's not just any airbase. It's the launch pad for military sites to Cyprus, a hub for refuelling missions and the home of the RAF's core fleet of Voyager aircraft, the so-called petrol stations in the sky, as they call them, that keep our fighter jets in the air 24/7. Now, get this, the activists didn't sneak in under the cover of darkness. They rode in on electric scooters. Yes, you heard that right, on electric scooters across the runway in full view of security cameras. I'm asking, where the hell are the guards? And why, when in other countries such as, I don't know, Russia or the US, if this had happened there, they would have been shot on sight. But for some reason, in England, in Great Britain, they're allowed to ride in on electric scooters. Video footage shows them heading straight for 2 Airbus Voyager planes, spraying red paint into the engines using repurposed fire extinguishers, and then going to town with crowbars. It didn't stop there either. They splashed red paint all across the runway, left a Palestinian flag at the scene, and according to Palestine Action, they escaped undetected. Can you believe it? Well, that's right. They got in, did the damage, wrecked some aircraft, wrecked the runway, and got out scot-free. No arrests, no confrontation, and not a bullet fired. Well, let's talk about what they targeted. The Voyager aircraft aren't just any planes. These are the very backbone of the RAF's air-to-air refuelling and transport operations. Each aircraft can carry over 100 tons of fuel, and one of the planes is believed to have been the UK's VIP jet, the one used to fly prime ministers, royals, diplomatic guests, and so on official business. The idiots at Palestine Action claim they decommissioned the planes, bringing them out of action, directly intervening to so-called break the chain of oppression. Their words, not mine. The red paint apparently was symbolic and meant to represent bloodshed in Gaza, but the real impacts could be far more serious. Tampering with military aircraft engines isn't just vandalism, it's a potential national security threat. And actually, in my view, I think it's terrorism. So why did they do it? Well, Palestine Action says Britain isn't just complicit in the Gaza conflict, it's an active participant. They accuse the UK of sending military cargo, flying spy planes all over Gaza, and refueling US and Israeli jets. Their spokesperson said, by decommissioning 2 military planes, Palestine Action have directly intervened to break the chain of oppression. Well done. Well, this comes off the back, of course, of pro-Palestinian protests that have swept the UK for 2 years now, with mass rallies, arrests, and another major demonstration set for London this weekend in Whitehall. The political fallout has been swift, to say the least. Shadow Armed Forces Minister Mark Francois slammed the break-in as totally reprehensible, especially in the wake of the recent Air India 787 tragedy just a few weeks ago. He warns that interfering with aircraft engines, especially those that ferry our troops, families or refuel jets, could have catastrophic consequences. Francois even raised the alarm about security, of course. He said there are serious questions for the MOD to answer about how protesters, who might have even turned out to be armed terrorists, were able to gain access to what is supposed to be a secure RAF base. And he's not wrong, is he? I reckon just 10 or even maybe 20 years ago, if this had happened under previous eras of politics, you would have had the Defence Secretary resigning. But in today's modern age, we seem to just be doing very quick news reports about a couple of idiots who managed to break into a military site. This is far more serious than is being reported and reflected today. Because this wasn't just a protest. It was a high-profile breach at a time when tensions with Iran and Russia are at boiling point. The RAF is reportedly preparing to send even more Voyager aircraft to the Middle East, making this kind of vulnerability even more dangerous. Should we talk about the elephant in the room as well? How did this happen? How did two morons, two activists, on scooters, no less, get into the UK's most secure airbase, damage military planes, wreck the engines, destroy the runway, and then leave without trace. This isn't just embarrassing, it's a wake-up call. If activists can do this, what could a hostile state actor achieve? The Ministry of Defence and Thames Valley Police are now both under massive pressure to explain the lapse and shore up security before something worse happens. And zooming out, this isn't just an isolated incident either. It's part of a wave of direct action targeting British military and defence infrastructure. Palestine Action, they have a track record of high-profile protests, but this is their boldest yet. Their message is clear. If the government won't change its policy, activists, such as them, will try to force the issue no matter the risk. But the question is, where do we draw the line between protest and sabotage? And what's the cost to national security, public safety, and the rule of law? Now, I want to hear from you. Was this a legitimate act of protest or a dangerous escalation that puts lives at risk? Should the government crack down harder or maybe listen to the protesters' demands? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can probably guess what the majority will think, but let's get this debate going. And if you're watching from the MOD, yes, we know you are. What are you going to do to prevent this from happening again? How did two juveniles on scooters get into RAF Brize Norton and destroy millions of pounds worth of aircraft equipment and engines? And besides being totally embarrassing for the MOD, Thames Valley Police, and even the country, I think it is making us appear like a national joke. These are the kind of scenes, tell me if I'm wrong, that you see at the end of empires or fallen governments in the Middle East somewhere. Look at the Taliban in Afghanistan a few years ago during Joe Biden's botched evacuation. You had US military personnel trying to get out the country. Meanwhile, thousands and thousands of Afghanis running into military sites, clinging on to Black Hawks, to aeroplanes as they took off, taking military equipment. It's the stuff of nightmares, and in fact, it's hugely embarrassing to the state of Great Britain right now. I think it personifies everything that's going wrong with the country at this precise minute. If you found this video eye-opening or even infuriating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe below. We're bringing you the latest stories that matter with the context and analysis you won't get anywhere else. And for more breaking news, deep dives, and no-nonsense commentary, keep it locked right here. I'm Ben Leo. See you next time.